You can you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Perfect.
We still have folks joining, I assume.
We do. We have a couple. We have some familiar names, but also some familiar to me and some more familiar to you. I won't read those off online, but know that we have a crowd forming, which is fantastic for something like this. While we're waiting for everyone to join in, a couple things. We do have the Q&A open for people to drop questions in, and I'll bring that up again uh, when it's appropriate. So we had a healthy amount on the registration list. So I know we're still waiting on a couple more. We have a handful. Uh,
Okay.
let's give it a couple more minutes.
All right, just a couple.
Yep, just a couple. Got a
Just
lot to cover.
agreed.
A lot to cover today. What did Willy Wonka say? So much time and so little to do. Strike that, reverse it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You can't
Hmm.
beat the original Willy Wonka though. All right. Maybe one more minute. We'll give it to 103. It says 102 right now on my screen.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're both East Coast time. We know we have a number of people on the coast to coast joining us. For some, it might be lunchtime, so they may be grabbing a bite and coming back. So uh, be mindful of the nationwide audience we have. Yeah, maybe have international. Who knows? Uh, we do have a footprint that goes that far. Yeah, awkward silences are always fun starting out webinars. It's just, hey, what do you say? How do you talk? How do you entertain? So, um, hey, hopefully everyone's having a great day. If you're in the southern regions, hopefully you're staying cool. I saw that it's pretty hot on the weather. And if you're in the flooded regions, please, I hope everyone is safe and well protected. With that being said, Holly, why don't you kick us off and we will get this party started.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm Holly Mason. I'm an account executive here at Guy Technologies. And joining me is Kyle Meyers, one of our senior solutions architects. So I think we have an exciting hour planned to show you some software and talk about some new things with Infor. So Kyle, I will let you take it away.
All right. So, covering a lot of things today, but before I get too much further, I do want to acknowledge the different types of people we might have in the room today. Uh, I looking through the list. We have some people who have been with Guy Technologies as a customer for a while, and you are currently on premise. Uh, we may not have had a conversation around what's in the cloud offering. That's going to be a lot of what we talk about today. So know that we're talking through that cloud offering. We'll be mindful of a couple of variants. We do have our commercial cloud. That's where everything today I do show lives. We do also have our Gov cloud. That has some exceptions as that's undergoing FedRAMP authorization. We have some customers here who are already on a cloud in one form or another. Uh, Glad to have you. There's a couple of things that have been percolating in the environment we want to talk through and kind of let you know how you can get those. We also have some customers who are running our Infor XA product. Guide as a organization helps both Cloud Suite Industrial and Infor XA, and we might be checking out what that looks like. So welcome, welcome, welcome. With that being said, let's kind of dive into what we're actually talking about. Oh, and the fourth group of people, I do have see a number of my colleagues here, some of which I will see next week. So welcome as well to those from the Infor and partner ecosystems who are seeing what all this is about. So covering today, a little bit more about those environments in which I mentioned, some new things in the core CSI. So these have been out since April. We've talked about them from time to time. You may or may not have seen these. So we're going to jump into a couple of those things that you actually have access to. Then we'll talk a little about the portals, burst and IDM. There's some new things going on with those. Just to let you know, kind of what's again what's up and coming and what's available. Then we're going to spend some time on the Infor Velocity Suite. I know we've talked a lot about it. It is an ever-growing part of the Infor ecosystem. Has again, it's not just static where it's at. It is growing, 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 with tons more coming our way. And then we'll wrap up with kind of, hey, how do we access these various things with some Q&A? So again, the Q&A, there is the Q&A feature open. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in there. I have that open on one of my 3 screens, so I can keep an eye on that. And I will either address it in flow or address it at the end. So both are fine as depends on how the questions go. So a couple things with CSI. We want to know where we're at in the cycle. So if you are unaware of the cloud deployment, there are monthly updates. One just happened this past weekend, and that's typically small bug fixes and little things like that. I wish we had a perfect software, but as it grows, sometimes you have to do that. But twice a year in April and October, there are actually new functionality deployments. Actually, if you want to, our webinars coming up from Infor themselves to walk through what's new is going to be dropping in October. A lot of good information. We can definitely share links to those, or you can access that through Concierge. But so we're getting close. This is mainly what came from April. So you can now have a compare and contrast of the new stuff coming in October as we see those Infor supported webinars coming out. We are going to walk through some of these live. I'm not just going to be talking slides, just actually showing the software. Have a couple different environments, just which have the best data loaded in to talk this, but we'll actually walking through it. And if you know me, some of you have met me, some of you have not. I'm pretty much of a straight shooter, so I'm going to kind of talk about what it is. I'm sometimes more honest than I need to be, but we'll talk about how things are, and then also how to get how to get access to these and what's involved with that. So what's new in core CSI? So this is some of the things. There's 2 things. One is kind of core. It does pertain to velocity. So the 2 are kind of intertwined a bit, but just, where that velocity starts to touch in. The one thing that is purely core is your EPM Lite. That's something new for a lot of people, and we'll do a little compare and contrast as to what that does for us. So first, the embedded Gen AI experience. So what this is for us is as we talk through the system, as you're using it, Gen AI is becoming more and more prevalent. There's a lot of things happening with it that, hey, this can help us do your daily jobs. I, in particular, becoming more and more adept to using AI and how it can just do some of these little tasks that take time, but then allows me to focus on the more important things. So right now, this is only available in your commercial multi-tenant SaaS. Again, once regulated cloud gets FedRAMP authorized, we'll do that. It'll be available there, but that's underway. As a side note, I got that authorized. If you are a government contractor, you hopefully understand the value of FedRAMP authorized. We'll table that conversation for another day. But let's bring up one of the environments we have. This is our guide demo environment that we work with. And I have opened a corrective action form. Now, those who don't know, I'm a recovering quality manager. Those who have worked in the quality realm will appreciate that, or worked with quality managers. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot of details. It's between a lot of decision and detail. So how can we make that quality better? Now, this is just one example. There's other examples in terms of campaign management, communication writing, dunning letters, all those. But we're going to start seeing in these forms is this little autofill button. So this is doing us leveraging behind the scenes. We have a Claude backbone with a Bedrock. That's kind of where Infor's AI is based on. And this is going to go out and look at your data. And the other key thing is we start using AI, it's your data. Infor has intentionally directed this towards only your system, no one else's. It does sometimes go out to the internet if you ask it to go out and find information, but primarily it is contained so you are highly protected. Now, with this as a corrective action, those who aren't familiar with this in the quality realm, this is when things get serious. You had a big oopsie, whether on the shop floor internally or even sometimes externally. That's the context of this corrective action form. It is part of the core solution when you're in cloud. So you might go through, you might add some description, you might add some notes, but it's going to recognize what's the context, what's going on here. And the cause and correction, this is a big thing. This is hard to do. So when we click this autofill button, what it's going to do, it's going to look through your data. Oh, it says I got to give it an item. Where did I miss that on the item? Let me just pick a different one then. This is what happens when you don't fully test before you go. So I'll just pick another one. Worst case, I'll go over to the MRR because it's on that as well. So let me do it. Oh, I might have to go to the MRR. That's the other side. Okay. Well, same thing there. There are some checks. I'm going to go to my MRRs. Those who are familiar with the quality world as well, this is material review request. And this is a very, very similar form. Again, the same kind of a thought process where you got to have everything lined up. So we'll click the autofill button. And this is now, it needs to know some information. That's the way AI works sometimes. So we'll just save that. Now with the autofill, it is going to go, it's going to look at the quality test. This is actually a better one because it's tied into, hey, what's your quality data? What's the control plan? What's kind of going on? And that's going to fill out all the information for us. Hey, what's the potential, causes? What went on with this? How do we get it? How do we prevent this from happening again in the near future? It's also going to give you all your recommended, here's what we should do going forward to make this a rock solid solution. That's just an example of this autofill working within the context of the system. Again, a lot of other spots, if you want to do item emails, it will generate a great email. I think we're all getting those from time to time, but AI is getting much better at generating really good content for us to send to our customers. In this case, it's content internally or for our vendors as to what we should do. So that's the embedded Gen AI experience. So that's right there throughout, and there'll be more and more areas where that gets deployed. The next thing, moving on from this, is our EPM Lite. So this is the bigger wow factor as we look at things. So when I say wow factors, because we're changing how we've done things in the past. So those who don't, again, a little recap in case those aren't aware, EPM stands for Enterprise Performance Management. Infor actually does have a full EPM application. If you have a large organization, budgets flying every which way, analytics, that is a great solution for larger organizations that need something to help multiple financial streams make sense. What we did for Cloud Suite Industrial is we actually took some of the functionality and scaled it back for what many of our companies would need in terms of that. What this does, it gives us a lot of financial metrics, a lot of financial information at our fingertips. Couple things with a package is you have some new workspaces, one being things like the finance CFO. What they're able to do is right from their page here, they're able to see some high-level metrics, how things are going, looking at the different scenarios, objectives they want to look at. They actually get very quick visibility into how things are going. So the numbers, if you're a finance person or you know or work for a finance person, numbers are very important. That is all part of what this does at a quick glance. But now most people, if they're a numbers person, they want to, hey, can you give me some more detail around that? That's a great high level. But we also then can go right into the full application itself. Now, those of you who've been with Cloud Industrial for some time, myself included, you did wonderful things with the Excel add-in. That's still incredibly powerful. As we're going cloud, more companies are maybe adopting Google Sheets. They're adopting maybe just sticking with 365 online only, or maybe you're getting to the size where you know what? The auditors do not want an Excel sheet for your financial statements. They want something coming right from the system. Well, that is what this is doing for you, is actually now you're able to run all your financial reports right from this environment itself. I jumped right to actually our actual versus budget income statement. So this is where we're going to get again, it's going to do all your formatting for you, take your multiple streams. You have any number of filters on it. So you can go, hey, whichever way you want to dissect this. There is standard content. You can also develop your own, very common amongst that. Now, as we compare this to some of the things that we've had in the past, well, first of all, we have actuals versus budgets with this. We also then have ability to drill down. That's still there. So you can do a click on an item. You can drill through, get into a sub account. Now you have the ability to pick how you want to drill into it, your unit codes. All that is there. For sake of conversation, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to go right to the sales. I'm going to actually drill back to CSI. This is, again, part of what we had back in the Excel sheet. It goes right back to the CSI GL transactions. So you can go through, something doesn't looks out of place, you can go back and get right to what you are, what's the detail you're looking for. Now, it's your distributions, your credits, your debits, all of those wonderful financial terms that some people are very, very concerned with, and seeing all their dimensions that goes on with that. That's just part of the financial reporting package in terms of getting reports. Now, there's also some other dashboards we can look at. There's a lot more content for this. And this is meant to just be a little bit of a primer. If you want a more detailed talk through, we're more than happy to sit down and work with anyone, talk to anyone through on this and what this would look like for them. All right, so that's a quick in a nutshell of what's there. Again, the financial reporting. I will say this, if you have multi-tenant SaaS, either cloud, commercial cloud or gov cloud, this EPM is available to you. And that is in both commercial and gov cloud. That's the only way to get it at this point in time. Again, this is included. Again, if you like it, if you grow, you want to get to the full EPM solution, that is also available for you, and we can have those conversations. All right, no questions yet, but again, feel free to drop questions in that chat there. All right, so this is where they're at. Moving on to iOS portals versus analytics and document management. And this is something where if you're in cloud, it's there. If we've been part of a demo cycle with myself, you've probably seen these. If you've been with cloud a while, maybe you're not fully leveraging what's available. And that's where we want to kind of get through today. So what's included in core? You actually have these portals homepages. There's some being deployed. When you activate Velocity Suite, there's some additional workspaces that you will have available to you. Now, whether you have Velocity or not, you also have workflows. We will hit on that in a little bit. I'm a bit of a workflow junkie. I think they are insanely powerful and helpful to work with. You also do have base burst analytics. So what that means is if you have not leveraged burst, if you want some BI tools native in the system, you actually have that. A lot of people aren't aware of that. So that's available. We'll kind of look at what that looks like. You also have document management when you're in full SaaS. What that means is you have so many documents related to ERP and the business. You have purchase orders, customer orders, all of that. Documentation, prints, that can all sit in IDM being accessible to your team with security in context. And I stress it with security because many documents you do not want publicly available. So that's really where we want to spend some time at. So let's jump right in and we'll take a look at some of the features with this. So I do have one of the pages pulled up, and this is the customer service page. Now, these are completely personalizable. So what I mean by that is what we can do is we can go in and we can go into, edit this. This is a published workspace in this case. So now we can edit the layout. You can rearrange this. You can change how things look. Now, we kind of settled on a kind of a 1-to-1 standard there, but you can then add widgets if you want to. You have an entire widget catalog. Many things are published by Infor and more things being released, but you can also write your own. There's actually a widget developer included in your SaaS subscription. Allows you to go in there, make what's really needed for you and your team, specialize there. Of course, we can work with you on that, but as I played around with it, it's very easy for many admins to pick up and work with. So that's kind of how we can use these home pages, how you can make them your own. Some other things with this as we get some things like Infor announcements. We hit cancel again because I do not want to change this page. I really do like it how it is. Pardon me while everything refreshes. So one thing you can have, announcements here. This will be company announcements. One in particular, I will call out because this probably, if you want to come, you need to join it. There's an announcement for Infor Velocity Week. This is down in sunny Orlando, Florida, in October. If you've never been to Orlando in October, it is gorgeous. So please come join us. You can look for this on the line, or we can also provide a link. And it's a great opportunity for you to really see all the technology that Infor is releasing. Now, as we get back to the home pages and what all is included there, we actually have the ability to look at a lot of metrics. If you run business today, you know metrics are critically important. It's a big part of what we do and how you understand to run your business. So things we set this up with, again, we have the content that's available. We have indicators and outcomes. This is going to give you some color-coded, personalized metrics. So, and that's from a customer service perspective. So we're looking at satisfaction, response times. All this comes from your data being published out to your data lake. All that's there. It's just a matter of putting things in the way that makes sense for your business. We'll also get some functional widgets. So what we mean this is as we have things like on your radar, this is a growing format that we're seeing. So you can actually see what's going on in your organization. Now this is tailored to a customer service, but the things that for purchasing, inventory, they all have some on your radar. What it does, it interacts now with the rest of this page and they're able to see what's going on. So for example, customer follow-ups, I got 12 RMAs to review. So I can actually click here. It will bring up a pop-up. I do not need to drill directly into the system to see what's going on. I can just go right to the see the list. If I need to drill in, now I can actually. So there's some here where this is going to take us right to the RMA line item form. We can see what's going on. And of course, we can always do the drill back to the higher level RMA as well. That's where now we're able to keep your team at that high level. So they're able to be much more productive in their work, not kind of these managing by exception, all these things bubbling up to the surface with them. So that is really where we're seeing some of this activity. Rather than being, in the screens, working, searching, we now have access on these home pages for your exceptions to be bubbled up to you and your team, really helping their productivity. Now, as we incorporate things on these workspaces, one thing is this document management. Now, this does show, of course, this is kept in context out there, but we have now ability right in here to actually get into this. So I can have a list of some order invoices that we need to take a look at. So a simple click is now going to bring us right to that document in the document management. And there's a couple things going on with this. First of all, we have the documents here. If you've never seen document management, let me give a quick little overview as to what's going on. So first of all, you have your document. You have a bunch of properties, and these are all attribute driven. Things that things like the customer order, invoice, customer all get automatically populated as you work with this. You can actually do full revision history on it. So this has been revised. You actually have that. So maybe you're on a customer order and you have multiple revisions as you're trying to get it all worked out. You can actually keep an order document history all in here with the various revisions. And Infor will automatically revise this for you. Of course, you have security. You also have signatures. So what this is this is tied into DocuSign. And it might be hard to see on my screen. You have this little yellow thing out there that we've actually sent this out for a DocuSign. Now this is going to come back to us with a signed document. Let's go to some recently modified documents and see if we can't actually walk through this. We have an invoice out here that we actually want to go out. Oh, this is not set up for signature. That is there. Let's go back to the contract type. This is a government contract. Actually not a good example because that's an XML and not a PDF. Let's go to this other contract document I have. So the way the signatures work is this is actually a native feature in the commercial cloud. It is not in the Gov cloud yet. I think they're working. I heard yesterday they're actually working on it. So know that this is a commercial cloud only. You can actually go out for signatures. What that works is you hook up your DocuSign account. which I'm not logged into right now. Yeah, well, that's how it works. I did not log in yet. Apparently, this one is not letting me log in, so I'll have to fix that. But no, that does the round trip on DocuSign. I'm not going to have you sit and watch me monkey with that. But that's kind of the native flow of how the DocuSign would actually work and come back. What this does is it does that round trip for us, and actually will put the envelope right back there in the signature for you all to see. And that's just part of the native flow. That's document management. Of course, it does show up in context as you look at the customers, the customer orders, all of that metadata will tie it in. Now, one thing with the document management, again, I worked on the shop floor and worked the docs. That's part of my career. And getting pictures was very critical. You can actually, document management actually works within that as well. So I'm actually going to, as this should be up and running, let me actually show my screen on the phone because, hey, that's part of the fun of this. Because one thing, if you are in the cloud, you might not be aware that you have access to is you actually have a mobile app. So that is this Infor Go. There's a couple others as well. That's a conversation for another day. I'm going to pick on this Infor Go. That's the primary app in which we want to work. Now it goes through a bunch of authentication. That's what you're seeing on the screen. And you actually have all your workspaces. You have any number of things, including being the documents. This is actually those same documents. You notice some of the same things we saw earlier. This is not a download. This is actually an active sync. Now, back to a use case for this. Let's say you have a team or you have people on the dock and they want to capture pictures to attach those for freight shipments. Very common. Saves your neck many times. It saved my neck many times having pictures. We actually did by just taking a picture. You can add from your library. I'll just take a picture and I'll snag my little jade plant there that I'm nursing back to health. And we're now going to save that. I'll pick a document type of, let's put this as an image. I got an image file down here somewhere. Or, you know what, we'll just put it on a shipment. And we'll save it. Now what we can do is this is going to go right back to the system. Now here, if I go back over to here, my documents, and that fast, we have that picture in our document. Now here we can go in, we can update whatever any things we want to. If through Velocity, we can work on ways of actually automatically populating it. We have a lot of options for that. Very short turnaround, getting your documents there. You can kind of see the power of having that as part of our solution. So that's the document management as it kind of rounds that out. Moving on, though, some other things we want to talk about was the IAM workflows. Again, this is something that if you're in cloud, you have it. If you are on premise looking at this is something really good for us to talk about. So within the cloud, whether it's GovCloud or commercial cloud, you actually have these workflows here. A little view as to what it looks like. I'm going to pull up some workflows, and then we'll actually have one halfway done, and we'll finish that up in action. So you have any number of actually workflows. So your automation, things that are going to trigger, so you can actually have them mapped out. They really also model your business process. That's probably not a good one for me to pick on. Let me go to one that I know I wrote. As just so you know also that this also is very admin friendly. So if you are an admin, you're not say a coder, you can definitely learn this though. This is low code, no code. So what you do is you have a workflow where you actually set up various tasks, notifications. This can also do automation. You have your API connections, internal and external. You can connect that to. You can set up decision points, whether it be parallel things. Actually have matrices to know, hey, who do I send this to? A very common use case for this is purchase order approvals. So based on the value of the purchase order, or maybe even the voucher, who has to go and sign off on this before either gets ordered or paid? Very, very common, and we can work with you on getting these all set up, and that's part of how these work. Now, what I do have is over here earlier today, I triggered one of these as well. So you're actually going to have some of these set up. We have a purchase order approval that got sent out. We also now have a credit limit approval. This is something that's natively there. So over on this flow here, we can actually have full access to it, see what's going on. There could be attachments to this as well. So if there's a document, either a document itself or an IDM link, we also have notes. A lot of times this turns into your conversations. Now, one of the benefits though is you don't always have to be at your computer to access these. Let me bring back up my phone because this is actually available now on your mobile device. So we go to our inbox, we'll have that exact same, we'll actually see some very similarities here and we'll watch how fast this updates. So I'm going to pick on, again, this credit limit approval. What happened with this one is they had a really big credit limit. You kind of see the old limit here and the new limit, and that was really big. Hey, cutting down the credit limit. Maybe you have a salesperson says, hey, before you cut our customer's credit limit, let's talk about it first. Now, first I'm going to assign it to myself. This could go to a team, can go right to a person, any number of ways this can play out. Now that new limit, hey, that's a lot. You know what? We're cutting it. Let's split the difference. Hey, let's change that second zero to a one. We'll kind of change things a little bit on it. And then let's add the note. Now, as we talk about these notes, notes can be talk to text. Therefore, you do not need to always have your fingers tapping on the keyboard and misspelling items. And there's that. We'll just save that. That got saved to the record. As we see this down here, it actually will pop up here pretty quickly. And then let's say I'm going to go right to, I'll just approve this right from my phone. Well, notice how fast that did a quick turnaround there. As I updated my phone, the screen behind me also updated. This is live action. This is giving you your access to the system on the go. So if you have executives who need to approve things and they're not always at the computer, this is their way of having a notification. Now, this can now does push notifications to the phone, to the watch, any number of things. So now they're connected when you need them to be working with you. And that's all part of Iron workflows. Very easy to set up and work through, and something that we can definitely, as a team, support you with if that's a journey you want to take. Ooh, Holly, how am I doing on time? I keep on talking. I got to take a quick second to take a
No,
sip.
you're doing very well. You're only half through, and we have 30 minutes left, 28
All right,
minutes left.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
let's keep on trucking along. Um, so let me, for some context, let's go back to the home page, back to our workspaces here, and we got some analytics. Now, this is great for your one couple metrics that are really key during the day. But sometimes, maybe you as an admin, you need or your team needs to do some deeper analysis. So what we have, this is called Cloud Suite Analytics. This is Burst, just to use the name. We set up as a separate application to make it easier for people to find. Well, this is brand new content that has been developed and deployed. If you've seen the content in the past, it was somewhat limited. This is much larger and growing. So we have everything from sales and purchasing, manufacturing, and as I said, quality. Thrilled to hear the quality was included because that is such a data driven, and as many customers are finding, quality data and having included is so valuable. But I'm going to pick on manufacturing for sake of that. And this is a lot of new content. So you have your overview pages and any number of sub pages that you can also work with and get the detail on. So all of this is now drillable. You have that detail. Now, just like if you've never seen Burst before, let me do a little bit of things here, just so everyone can kind of see some of the power of it. So we have an entire page set up. We can actually do a highlight of things. Oh. So as I just highlighted too, notice also I updated everything. That automatically put in a filter that popped up here. So you actually have the ability to actually filter, drill, understand what's going on, what's the story, how do we know what that is. We have some jobs here. We have a job variance, and we can know, hey, there's a job number. We need to go tackle it. That's all part of this Burst solution. There's again, it's many elements of it. Now to get this, if you already are in cloud, you already have Burst. This is actually just a ticket to have this deployed into your environment. Now, might require some services to get some of the scheduling working, how often we want to refresh the data lake in the Burst environment. So we have all that synchronized. There's some decisions there, but know that this is actually now included in your SaaS subscription. So I've lost my notes, so we got to go back to the deck and make sure I hit everything. Oh, got the home pages, got the workflows, got the widgets, got the bursts, got the new burst content. Oh, got everything. Awesome. Awesome. So, again, as we just said, a little bit of, so I don't have to click around. Again, the gap is adoption. Everything that I just showed in the section, if you are in cloud, whether it is Gov Cloud or commercial cloud, you have it. It's more just about adoption. Um, and that's where we're here as guide to help you walk that journey. And I love having people kind of see what's going on, talk about how can our company use this to make our lives better. And that's really the power of the cloud as it keeps on evolving, as improving. You've been in cloud for many years. It's only going to get better and better and better. You're entitled to new things, and that's where it's just now uh, uh, filling those gaps and helping you adopt it. So please reach out to. I think Holly is easier to get a hold of than me typically. So reach out to Holly or your designated guide contact, and we can definitely talk through this journey with you. Now, on to the fun part, Velocity Suite. Me personally, I've been with Velocity Suite probably for 3 years. I've been doing training since it first got kind of there, and I can test just the advancement going on with this. Infor, to their credit, took the time and figured out how do we want, they didn't just do AI randomly. They said, how do we want to use AI? What foundation do we want to build? So where some companies are using AI for more linear growth, Infor set the foundation, and it is now exponential growth. Now that they actually have a platform, it is growing. There's content being added, and some of the things that I have seen people come up with are mind blowing. If you little side notes, if you want to see the full Velocity Suite in action, and you're on Infor XA, send us a line. We have a special presentation for you and for XA with Velocity Suite. So we know some people in here, that's just a side conversation. So what is included in Velocity Suite? Hey, what are these key pieces that we want to look at? Well, we do have Gen AI agents. So many of you might be using Claude or Copilot, Chat GPT. We actually have a Gen AI sitting right in your environment that you're able to work with. Now, what that's going to do for you is a plain language talking. Hey, what about this? What about this? This is where your users are able to do all this conversation. Now, there's some standard out of the box content. You can also do custom content. I was talking with a customer last week, and we are going to work on building a model for the shop floor that will allow the teams to go through and look through the engineering drawings, connect out to their PLM system, and bring back information. So their team, rather than running in and asking engineering, they ask them, hey, can we actually get this Gen AI assistant to answer our engineering question for us? Now, that does take some development work, but there's the platform to do it. That's the bigness of the platform for it. So you have those Gen AI agents. Now, also with that, we have some other things with AP automation and process mining. Well, I want to dive in a bit to what these are and how these all fit together before I go too far into the rest of it. So being on cloud, we have this platform with industry-specific applications. So you have your API security, Fabric, and all of this. What we're actually doing is now layering on top of all this. This is the Velocity Suite right here, is your process mining, your RPA. That's robotic process automation. That's where the AP automation lives. AI, ML, and the Gen AI, all that is there. And that's your architecture. Now for the process mining, I'm going to show this quick. Just want to walk through because that way you kind of see what's going on. So as the process mining works, so we have the process maps defined for you. That's part of the implementation process. Infor provides the out-of-the-box processes, and our services team are always happy to help you walk through and dial those in for your exact processes. After that, process mining starts watching what everyone is doing to help you understand what's the root cause. Again, from my background of quality, you always ask, okay, something went wrong. Why did that happen? And this is one of the great ways for you to find out why things happen. So let's actually pull that up. And this is what that process intelligence kind of looks like. Oops, I think I have it in this one. Here's where I have the process intelligence already open. Now, this is split up by many different flows. So this one's procure to pay, for example. This is actually where we're looking at your purchasing processes. Now, it is looking at your cycle times. You're able to see, okay, are we being, as our purchasing team, being responsive to high level metrics? A lot of metrics definition on that. And how many cases, how many times we ran through things, all that's part of it. Now, you can go through some process discovery, what's going on. Part I love to see is the performance analysis. This is where you start asking those questions. What really happened? Because you're looking at a metric, and days of old, you're kind of guessing what happened. What process mining does is it allows you to actually know what really happened. Now, your variant one in this case, this is probably your typical process. You can actually see how people flow through. Now, maybe decisions were made that hit everything, but that's a pretty standard process flow. But now we have some times where, hey, this one took 25 days. What's going on here? Well, as it goes through and maps it out, things started going fine. Oh, it just took a while. Okay, let's find some other ones that maybe took a little bit different path. And that's what we're just going on here. And what we'll eventually get is, oh, that's a quick one. Might get some non-conformances that show out. Oh, there we go. Now we got the red lines. We got some bouncing around here. This is where process mining helps you understand what's going on. Now we can zoom in on this. Let me zoom in and let's see what that is. Oh, there's a change price in the requisition line. So the quote did not match the purchase order. Who's had that happen before? So many times. This allows you to kind of see how often that's happening. Are we making that variant? And what kind of time frame does that equal up to? That's all this process mining allows kind of your improvement teams to understand what's really going on. Insanely powerful as your team wants to improve your business or sharpen your axe, as I like to say. So that's the process mining piece. Next, I want to roll into the RPA, the development. So for that, I have to do a little bit of setup so you understand the process, and so it is all relatable. First thing in the setup is email. So for a lot of AP companies, or when you come to an AP, you have an email box of ap@mycompany.com. Well, we have the same thing set up here. As you can see from all my red emails, I have any number of them. Some are just invoices, some are expense invoices, but all starts with the mailbox. And what this does is you just have the vendor will send the document in an email. And now we're able to go out there and take a look at that. Now, for a lot of you, you'll actually set this up to run behind the scenes. You actually set this up on a schedule, and you don't have, it's kind of a set it and forget it. Purposes of the demo, I have this little RPA assistant. This is something that your team can have out there sitting on their desktop as well if you want to be a manual trigger. And I'm just going to click run on this. So that little dot right there tells me that, hey, we are off and running. It is doing its thing. It's going out, checking my email. It's also going out there and checking, hey, do we have other invoices that are still pending? Maybe some hanging as we go to the review center. And what's all hanging on there? While this is processing, I have one from earlier, and I'll just jump right to the review center, and we'll take a look at what that is. So when I say review center, this is something that's with an RPA. This is now where our exceptions happen. I don't have a quick link out there. I should have set that up. So review center is now where what actually happens is we'll actually see what's going on. And I should have some cases in here. All right, hot second. Let me do an environmental refresh. Oh, I'm in the wrong environment. That's my problem on this one. Got to go to this environment here. Sorry, I got too many couple things open. This is the one I have hooked up to this. I'm gonna go back to the review center where I actually have that invoice hanging out there. So here we have invoice processing. I have an invoice that needs verification. So what this is gonna do for us is something, hey, as this got triggered, not everything was lining up properly. So it actually goes to review center. We see some verification here. So we have some invoice number, we have the invoice itself, and we're gonna have some notes as to what's going on with this one. So right now I have a bunch of invalid lines. There's some widgets that will help you go through and actually now assign this. This right here is a marketing invoice. So something that we not, no error codes to it. So we just gotta hold on a second. I got some pop-ups to validate the process. These they're not installed in your environment. This is just me as a quasi developer with all this as this now gets pushed through. That's actually now telling me in my way that, hey, invoice is going through to CSI. You have some widgets over here. They'll help you then assign your unit codes to this as an expense invoice. This is kind of where this all gets caught. There's missing information. You have something there. We have some other things going on. Let's see if that one I was processing hit the missing information. I hope it didn't because I had it processed through. And it looks like it is still moving through and it should move just fine. That's kind of the review flow, part of that RPA process. The last step is we actually go to AP vouchers and adjustments. So what happens then is this automatically pushes that invoice through. So here's actually and where I ran this earlier as well, as that's still processing on the invoice itself. Oh, that should be through any minute now. We actually go through and document management is actually going to have that related invoice there. Let's do a little refresh here just to get that document management to refresh. And that's now going to be part of it. That's actually that invoice we had earlier. So here's actually the invoice that came through right in document management. That's all processed for you. Now this has all of your lines for it. So if you want to look at your voucher listings, hey, here's those 8 lines on their line up to the 8 lines on there. It's all entered for you. You don't have to worry about getting that through. I do a refresh here. And then that other voucher will be coming through. So that's all part of this AP automation. Really, you set this AP automation to run at night, come in the morning, and your team can go through Review Center, see the new invoices that are processed, and it is all there for your team. Really, helps you and your make more with what you have. It's that robot that's as you grow. How do you grow? The adding resources. Velocity is a big part of that journey. All right. So doc process mining, the Gen AI. Now what's coming next? Okay, some of this is next. So this is some new things. So on the roadmap, and I'll say this is a roadmap, you have the agentic orchestrator. If there's any AI people out there, you will understand what that term means. I barely do. We have an AI specialist on staff who is thrilled about that. But know that there's an agentic orchestrator in the works. So I'll stress that. Then we're also working on the agentic processes. Again, on the roadmap, still yet to come. That is part of where we are headed with all this. And lastly, some really clear role-based workspaces. There are some out there with Velocity Suite, but these are going to get even better and better yet as this grows. So know that again, Velocity is not staying static. We want people to join in because really the more people who are leveraging this, the more feedback we get, the better and better we can make this process. It helps you stay ahead of your customer. So I think we're getting close to the end. What's available now and how to get it. So the EPM Lite, $0 order form to your Infor rep. That's all it is. Then we get it deployed. There are some services to help get it set up. There's a couple things in terms of getting things modeled and connected properly, but know that in terms of license cost, that's included. Holly, do you want to cover this?
Sure. So the same thing with the embedded Gen AI experience. So the two of those components that have been released recently, it's a $0 order form. You get a new SKU added to your provisioned environment. And you can work with me if you're a guide customer or your account manager if you're another partner. The burst analytics content is just a support ticket. So just go into Infor Concierge and say, hey, I'd like to get that new burst analytics content provisioned and work with Infor support for that. When we talk about the iOS portals and the home pages and the widgets and the workflows and all of that, it should already be in your environment. Again, if you're multi-tenant SaaS. And that is just an enablement discussion, and we can get you a statement of work to help you. I've noticed many of our customers are not deploying those home pages, which we kind of think is a shame because there's so much value in what you can get when you start pushing data out to users by role. So if that's something that you'd like to implement, see another demo. If you need more information, talk with us and we'll get it to you. Velocity Suite is really the only component that has a fee to it. So if you think you're ready for Velocity Suite and some of the automation that it brings to the table, again, there's a lot of automation that's part of the suite already. And then of course you can build all your own if you need to, or Infor or Guide can help you. So that does have a fee associated with it, both for the implementation and the software. And so just let us know if you're interested in that. And go to Velocity Days and learn even more.
Okay, so what's next? Well, first of all, if you're in cloud, a lot of these things are in your environment. Feel free to play around, whether it be your test, your training environment. It is very easy to export and import content from one to the other. So you can develop it, roll it out, put security around all of it, however you want to do. You can actually play around. If you want to schedule a deep dive, you want to talk to us, do some dreaming, understanding this is a fast hour, get under the cover, get under the hood a bit and see what's going on. More than happy to do that. If you don't know me, I am a techie and I love talking tech. Sometimes to a fault at times, but I'm more than happy to kind of have that deep dive. Or if you want to take those next big steps with deployments, hey, what does velocity look like? What do these kind of look like? What's going to take to get us across the finish line? Again, more than happy. Those are great conversations to have. So,
Yeah.
email works. Uh, Many ways of going. Like Holly, I don't know if you have a way in the chat to drop your email. People don't have it.
I think the next slide has it.
Oh, it does. Oh, the great picture of you.
There you go.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for listening to me for an hour. Uh, I, I,
Did we get any questions, Kyle?
I don't see any questions in there, but I think there's probably, you know, I opened up a fire hose, so I
Mhm.
understand sometimes you get a lot of information, you got to sit back and process it. So again, more than happy if anyone wants to have a follow up conversation, uh, please let us know.
Yep. Good plan. Digest it, think about it, talk with others internally, and let us know what you need from us.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully, everyone has a great day and stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.